So think about it this way. We always talk in the church about giving and tithing and these kinds of things, and it's great, but it's hard to tithe when in the back of your mind, you know, you have 40, 50, $60,000 in debt. That's tough. Some people give with the thought that, well, God's just going to erase my debt. Listen, I'm not going to say what God would or wouldn't or is or isn't going to do, because he could do anything he wants. But I think you should take responsibility for the money that you've accrued in debt and figure out a plan to pay it. What's going on, guys? This is the Frontline Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Freeman, and this is episode number 4. All right, so in this video and episode, I'm going to go over 4 financial tips that I have for you just to get grounded in the world of finance. So this is probably not for somebody more seasoned in financial literacy. And, you know, it's not even Finance 101. I'm not a financial consultant, so or a financial advisor or a financial guru by any stretch of imagination. But for some of you who are younger, say in your 20s, and you don't be humble. If you just have no idea, like you just were never taught anything about money or finance or being responsible with money, like you just have no clue. It's okay, because you're probably watching this by yourself. Nobody's seeing you. Nobody knows what you know. So, but I do think this is a good start for conversations that we are going to have in the future. Like I said before in previous episodes, I'm going to be inviting other experts on to talk about different topics like this in more detail to give you practical and tactical information so that you can improve in these areas, right? So I'm really excited about this. But I just want to give you some nuggets today, just to kind of set the foundation for other topics we'll be talking about in the future. All right. So 4 foundational financial tips that I want to share with you. And that's number 1 is life insurance. So this matters more if you are married and have children. But if you have any family, you know, your parents, your siblings or cousins or whatever, it's so important to have life insurance. I think life insurance is setting records actually this year. This is December 2022. So life insurance over the last couple of years, the sales of life insurance has set records. And I'm assuming it's because of the pandemic and everything that happened there. A lot of people were concerned for their lives. And so, but for good reason, because life insurance, having financial assets aligning to your estate, if you were to pass and be with the Lord, it's so important for your family. And it's not just about funding your funeral and stuff like that. There may be other expenses and other things going on as you're working, you're building your little kingdom, especially if you're married and you have children, you have a family. It's so important for you to have some kind of financial backing if, God forbid, you were to no longer be with us. And it's something that is overlooked. It's just not fun to talk, okay, what do I do if I die? Like, it's not fun. Which leads to my number 2, which is having a will, which is also important because you don't want people fighting over, you know, your situation, especially if you have some assets and some money and you've built some things, you've accomplished some things, and you've put some things in order. It's really good to have on paper exactly where things should go, how things should be handled if you were to pass. So I think this is extremely important foundationally for somebody just learning about the responsibility of being a man and overseeing and managing your financial affairs. These 2 things are really overlooked because we think we're never going to die, especially when we're younger. So uh, taking care of your life insurance and establishing a will when you're younger is setting the tone and the precedent for the kind of responsibility that you will need and focus on your financial affairs as you get older. So I think whether you're 23 and you just have your first professional job and you're renting an apartment, or you're my age, you're in your late 30s and you're married with children. I mean, you should start figuring these things out and setting a foundation. Number 3, plan to attack your debt. If you got debt, student loan debt is, can be handled a little bit differently. But if you have debt, medical bills, credit card debt, set a plan of attack to get rid of your debt. Because debt is a stronghold that the enemy uses to keep us Christians from producing more in the church. So think about it this way. We always talk in the church about giving and tithing and these kinds of things, and it's great, but it's hard to tithe when in the back of your mind, you have $40, $50, $60,000 in debt. That's tough. Some people give with the thought that, well, God's just going to erase my debt. Listen, I'm not going to say what God would or wouldn't or is or isn't going to do, because he could do anything he wants. But I think you should take responsibility for the money that you've accrued in debt and figure out a plan to pay it. And in most cases, that's what you're going to, I would say 99% of the time, that's what you're going to have to do. So figure out a plan of attack and try to get rid of that debt. Last but not least, number 4, which probably should have been first, but is work with a financial advisor. Starting young if you can. If you can meet with a financial advisor and start working with one, within your budget. I know some of them are really expensive, but within your budget at a young age, you are going to save yourself a ton of heartache and pain. Let me tell you. Build a relationship with a financial advisor and get the advice that you need to start preparing for the assets that you're going to accumulate, what you're going to do with them, what you're going to invest in, et cetera, et cetera. And that financial advisor can help you with the first 3 things that I just mentioned: getting out of debt, setting up your will, buying life insurance, et cetera. So those are my 4 foundational tips. I think it's extremely important that we take our financial situation seriously. I didn't want to go into too much detail about money because I have some great guests lined up that are going to come on the show and talk in more detail about what we should be doing with our money. But I just wanted to share those 4 tips and just get your brain thinking about it. Just, do I have life insurance? Do I have a will? How much debt do I have? Do I know a financial advisor? Should I, right? It's just to trigger you to start thinking about this if you're in a rut or if you have no idea. And like I said, we're going to be talking more about money in the future. We're going to be talking about, the rise and fall of crypto. We're going to be talking about, stocks and bonds, mutual funds, index funds, what you should be thinking about investing in the future. We're going to be talking about, how to save, what, where to put your money potentially, as far as ideas around that. We're going to be talking about how you should be investing more money into your business ventures. If you're a business owner and reinvesting into your business, we're going to be talking about that. I just wanted to set the groundwork with this one to set the stage for future videos to come. So quick video, quick episode. Like always, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, man. Subscribe. I'm trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers by June of 2023. It's a pretty modest goal. So if I can't do that, then I'm just not serving you guys. Also follow our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcast. It's your host, Mike Freeman with another episode of the Frontline Podcast. Gents, signing off.